Mike had this idea that if one dealer, if they do one misdeal, they spend a day in the dungeon.
That's
the second misdeal.
It's the Poker News Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 966 of the Poker News Podcast presented by WPT Global. I'm Chad Holloway, joined once again by Jeff Platt and Mike Holtz, Ben Ludlow. We're all in studio here in Las Vegas. The World Series of Poker is here, kicks off later today. A very exciting time. Jeff, you're here to answer a bunch of questions about the WSOP.
I'm ready. Let's do it. We're excited for the WSOP. Like always, it's going to be our very best World Series of Poker yet. And Mike, come after me. Whatever you got, baby. Whatever you got.
Well, we are going to talk about, patches, the rule change, the dealer program, a lot of faces that have been associated with the WSOP family. But we're going to also talk about the new merch store. We're going to talk about the new morning show and other things that people can do to follow along. Then we're going to talk 25K Fantasy, which is tonight as we're recording this. But we will show a highlight video that we're going to record and edit in. And we'll get into a few other things. But let's start with... what do you want? WSOP patches? Is that a good place to start?
You're warmed up. Let's go.
Right.
Let's get into it.
I know this one's approved. The Poker News Podcast has been approved.
Through a lengthy process, but in the end, we gave you the green light.
I messaged you when this was making the rounds on Twitter. I've known you a long time, and I know the reasoning behind this, and it's not going to be to crack down on donkey poker or whatever, right?
Poor donkey poker.
But a lot of people hit that panic button and it's like, oh, this is going to be the end of staking and everything. What was your take on kind of that alarmist mentality?
Well, I think the only misconception that I've seen out there is that this was a ploy by WSOP or GG to shut anybody out who they thought were competitors. And I think if that were the case, then you wouldn't have seen PokerStars approved, you wouldn't have seen BetMGM approved, Party Poker approved. You wouldn't have seen Brad Owen get a vlogger pass, Rampage get a vlogger pass, etc. So WSOP and Caesars, they go through a lengthy list of regulations and sponsorship laws and Nevada gaming, etc. And that in the end will result in shutting out a couple of sites. Like the vast majority of people or organizations or companies that have applied for patches have received the green light, have received the thumbs up. And of course, there are going to be a couple who are on the no list. I think the no list is like 4 right now out of hundreds of applications or so. So that's the only thing that I felt was needed to clear up. Like, oh, it's going to be all WSOP and GG. They're just trying to full on take over, and that's just not the case.
Right. Wait, real fast. So wait, what was the reason then? The reason's because some of them are like offshore or like not like what's the reason some of them aren't approved?
Yeah, they go through a whole list of qualifications. I mean, listen, I understand who has a green light that you might question. Well, if they get a green light, how do certain people get the red light? Right? And so, I mean, there's probably a reason that I'm not involved in any specific conversations for specific companies. I just know that they go through a process. And sure, that process is more intense now because of what happened last year, right?
Of course, yeah.
If what happens last year doesn't happen at all, are we having this conversation? Maybe not. Like maybe this is something that we do within the next few years, but this is the path that WSOP has chosen to take to shut that out. I think is fair to say.
And I feel like, as much as maybe personally I'm kind of like, if it were me, I think I'd try and let everyone represent themselves. But at the same time, I feel like we take a similar stance here on the podcast too, where like we're not trying to talk about a lot of sites where we're not 100% sure of the safety of the site or kind of the business practices behind it, et cetera.
But the only thing I would say is for me, Club WPT Gold and ACR are the only difference. There's a lot of differences, but for them not to be in and ACR to be in, I would just assume that's because of the thing from last year, right? Like,
I was going to ask that, like, how much did last year play into, maybe not directly, like, all right, well, what are we going to do to stop Club WPT Gold this year, right? But like more like, all right, we had this incident happen last year. We can't afford to have this happen again in terms of, the regulations and such. Like, was that some talk behind the scenes, so to speak?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be lying if it's like, we just came up with this process, kind of on the side. What do you mean what happened last year?
The process
gold, silver, platinum, what?
And so that process, the new list of rules, regulations, whatever you want to call it, that they go by, is again going to result in a couple of companies not getting the green light. And at the end of the day, it's the World Series of Poker's call. You know, it's I shouldn't say just that. It's also Caesars. Caesars is the host property. You know, these are two different entities. Caesars hosts the World Series of Poker. The World Series of Poker and Caesars are now separate companies. WSOP is now owned by Ensis, which is the same company that owns GG. So I should say that this is a joint process with Caesars and with WSOP. And Caesars has their say, like that they can give a no to somebody who WSOP might have given a yes to. But overall, at the end of the day, like it is the World Series of Poker's decision. It's not their decision to kick out everybody who they consider a threat or a competitor. But this is just the path that they wanted to take.
How much does the ESPN deal play into it? Because there are, we talked about this with Berkey when he was in studio. There is probably regulations regarding logos on a national TV like ESPN, right? Like, for instance, on like reality TV, contestants aren't allowed to just wear Miami Dolphin memorabilia. Like they have to logos. And we've seen it years ago when somebody would make a live stream final table or record, ESPN refilmed final table, I should say. But like Berkey said, he had a Steelers hat. They made him put a black tape over it. I've seen that many times over the years.
It's a good question. There are most certainly broadcast regulations that we have to follow by, even more so now when being live on ESPN and when you can't edit anything out. We'll have edited episodes, of course, but there will be live streams on ESPN2 and the ESPN app, et cetera. So that most certainly weighs into the entire process. You can't put like some unregulated crypto whatever thing on TV. There are rules against that for sure.
Yeah.
No Bitcoin Latinamats?
No,
They're probably not going to make the yes list.
But hey, if you want
nobody's applied.
If you want to represent ESPN Bet, I'm sure they're just fine with that.
And just to
I
clarify,
think ESPN Bet died though.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
oh,
I think they're using DraftKings.
Great run.
I use ESPN Bet. I don't know.
Do you?
No,
wow.
I've never done that.
I think you're just
I think this
putting
is
money into the
DraftKings
boys
partnership,
anymore now.
by the way,
Yeah.
Didn't even know it existed.
Did you have something?
I'm high and forgot what I was going to say.
Oh, what a surprise. How often does that happen?
Once an episode now,
Once an
I'd say.
episode.
Yeah.
Obviously, the World Series of Poker is starting today. Registration is open, has been open. I know one thing that's been quickly talked about, you can clarify, credit card fees.
Yeah.
Right? Last year was great because no fees on credit cards.
Right.
I was using it, getting those airline miles on my United Mileage Plus card. But now there is a fee, but I don't think it's the full 3%.
Yeah, it's not the full 3%. It's 2%. I mean,
Just
I'll
like
be
my
honest
milk.
with you
Just
guys.
enough to fuck me.
Yeah, right,
just enough to make it not worth it at all.
We got hit pretty hard for the 1 year, but we knew we were going to, and that was like a gesture of sorts to the community. We've got this cool app, and like this will make everything seamless. And let's also do 0 credit card fees for year one. And this year we're gonna not take as much of a bath, just take a little bit of a hit as far as credit card fees are concerned. So that's why it's the 2% instead of the 3%.
Sure.
Can you break down how the staff fee works for the tournaments? Like
Probably not, but clarify for me. Like just
like where does the staff fee go exactly? Like how does it get broken down?
No,
like,
that I
well,
wouldn't
the
be able to
staff.
clarify. I mean, I will say what's a really good point to make, and so I'm glad that you brought it up, is that WSOP does not make any rake. All the rake goes to Caesars. Yeah. It's just like how the events at PokerGo Studio, Aria makes all the money off rake. PokerGo, the tour, they don't make any money from the actual rake. Now, I'm sure there's something in the grand overall deal between WSOP and Caesars where, of course, we're like incentivized for a bigger turnout. But Caesars handles the rake, the staff fee, would not be anything WSOP related. That'd be all Jack Effel and his team. So like he would know how that staff fee is distributed because he's running the show for Caesars and they have all of the rake and the staff fees.
Well, we have Jack Effel waiting. Jack, come on in.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say we should get Jack on here and grill the shit out of him.
No.
One thing we talked about on the show prior, and I know you're pretty excited about the dealer program. Dealers are incentivized right now. There's going to be a rating system on the WSOP live app. And what's been your take on that? You've been doing a lot of promoting of it. There was some pushback on it. A lot of people had concerns, but what do you think is going to happen with this dealer feedback?
I think it's good. I mean, as I said in one of those social media videos, WSOP is actually about now improving the player experience. And a big part of that we realize is dealing, right? You know, we hear about the dealers every year, especially from that gentleman over there. But I know you want to go like slide down for everybody. I agree. I agree.
Do that
that's
shit.
going to be a work in progress. So we'll get to that next year. For now, we really just wanted to
make sure the dealers speak English from the beginning.
We wanted to find a way to elevate our good dealers. So the good dealers can be moved up in the events. They can be on restarts. They can be on featured tables. And then we wanted to incentivize dealers to get better and to improve throughout the course of the summer. And I think putting in $100,000 into the program is going to help that. It's a step in the right direction. You know, I wish that somehow, some way, Caesars all of a sudden were able to hire 1,000 dealers full time.
Sure.
And then we'd have them for the whole year and we'd have a really good dealer program. And just, it's not feasible at this point in time. So we have to bring on a lot of temporary dealers who are very new to everything. And hopefully that process just continues to get improved. It's something that is always on our minds. It's been on my mind. I feel like I talked about with you guys earlier, I'm trying to like represent the players and we're trying to like ramp things up in a lot of different areas, dealers included. So I think it's, again, a good step.
Mike had this idea that if one dealer, if they do one misdeal, they spend a day in the dungeon.
That's
the second misdeal.
It's funny.
A week in the dungeon.
Dungeon.
No one knows about the dungeon
we're bringing
in the bottom
that back
of
this
Paris.
year.
The dungeon.
Listen, I just want to say in general,
Yeah.
I think dealing is an incredibly hard job. I've tried it myself. It's very, very difficult to do well, and you don't get any respect. Most people are just like, you dealt me a cooler, and then you got me being like, I think I show the 9 of diamonds. And you're like, dude, come on, man. I'm just trying to support my children. I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
totally
children.
Yeah, no, I was being the dealer in that. You know what I mean?
The good thing about these massive field no limit events with our newest dealers is that No Limit's a relatively easy game to like help the dealer with, to help police, like, you know, the players at the table can chime in like, no, actually this should be the side pot, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we encourage help. Don't get in a bad mood. Don't snap at anybody. Don't yell at anybody. That's not going to be productive.
The biggest
and don't criticize a dealer for dealing you a cooler.
Yeah. The biggest problem is that day 4 of the World Series every year is the 1,500 dealer's choice. And inevitably, there's going to be someone in there who's like, oh, this is my 4th day dealing. All right, deal 29
but
games
aren't the mixed games dealers the more like experienced
they should
ones?
be.
They
get
should
paid
be,
more?
but it's not always the case.
I
And
gotcha.
that's not like
I
again, I'm just being an asshole right now, but you know, it's inevitable. It happens. By the end, this is not an issue. By July, everything is fine, and we don't even talk about dealers anymore.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Well, Mike always does, but that's
July-
fine.
That's not
But
specific
by
to World
July, they're
Series.
better. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course. But
yeah.
it does. I wish
By
there
July,
was
the bad ones are in the dungeon, and they're staying there. They're not coming back.
Exactly. I just wish there was like a way where it sucks in June when right at the beginning you're paying like, it's like, I paid $500 in rake and my dealer's just like blinds. You know? And I'm like, dude, come on, how did this guy get through? Like, you know what I mean? So like, I wish there was a way where we could just have the
Braille
dealers
cards.
And I also feel like, well, I wonder, I have questions about the dealing system. So like, you can only rate the dealer at your table?
Yes.
Like, so
Yes.
it'll tell you what your table is and who the dealers will say, like, rotates per down will say, like, Rolando S sat down.
Right. And then once Rolando sits down, you would be able to go on your app and you would see Rolando pop up at your table. And then you could click on Rolando and rate him scale of 1 to 5.
Okay.
Here's my biggest concern. I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone's talked about this, and this is the thing. Like
Hot chicks. They're always going to get 5 stars,
yes,
man.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say more like,
Look, I gave
Rolando
you
dealt
5
me a cooler.
stars.
Fuck
Yeah.
this guy. I'm gonna rate him a 0. And oh my god, I'm in love with this dealer. She's so hot, or he's so pretty. Like I'm gonna rate him a 5. Like
Has nothing to do with their actual
exactly.
skill.
Like that's my
Yeah.
biggest worry is that people are gonna just fuck around with this and troll, and like we're not going to get as accurate. I think what will happen is the best dealers will get recognized and it will rise to the top, but then there's going to be like a bunch of noise in the middle that's kind of hard to sift through. That's like, all right, I mean, I'm sorry Rolando dealt you aces over kings or whatever, but like,
I think part of that is why they decided to do a per event incentive system. So like if you're getting trolled in one event, like,
I like that.
Whether it's, you know, in the very good or the very bad, like it's not going to stick.
Yeah.
With
Rolando,
that
if you're listening,
specific
spread out
dealer.
those
So
bad
Rolando,
beats.
yeah.
I was going to say, I know you pulled Rolando out of thin air,
Yeah.
but there's probably a real life Rolando dealer out there who's like,
He's
they're talking
listening.
about
This
me.
is my time.
Yeah, this
He's
is my
like,
time.
I made it.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch on social media about welcome to the WSOP family with some big names, Maria Ho, David Williams. Williams.
A few days
yourself.
ago. You're welcome.
Re-announced.
Ali Najad, I was very excited about this, but I then wondered to myself and got this question like, what does that mean? What does welcome to the WSOP family mean? We know what it means for Ali and Nick Schulman, right? They're going to be on commentary. We know what it is for you. I guess Lon and Norm are back as well. But like specifically like Maria Ho and David Williams, like, okay, great. They're in the family. I love them both. But what are they going to do?
Right. It's a good question.
Yeah, Stapes too.
And WSOP is trying to build a team, right? And that team is called the family. So what does that mean? I think for Maria and David and Stapes and myself, that means exclusivity. Like whenever you see one of us on any kind of broadcast or you listen to one of us, that you know that this is a World Series of Poker event. And that was important for WSOP to align themselves with who they considered to be, not a brag, that it's just they consider to be like a top tier talent level, and hopefully the four of us can represent them in a really, really strong way. And it's more like the real talent is in the big name players like the David Williams and the Maria Ho's of the world. Stapes and I are there just, to kind of set them up for set them up for success.
But what are we going to see from the four of you this summer?
I think you'll see this WSOP countdown show that Chad mentioned earlier, with me and David Williams and Stapes and Norman Chad, unfortunately.
And we're going to be on there, obviously. Sometimes,
of course. And
tell us about this too.
I'm not really a morning guy.
I think right. So we've shifted the branding from morning show to WSOP countdown.
Oh, good.
So we're trying to set the stage and take you all inside the World Series of Poker every single day before the live stream. So that includes a live stream preview, that includes this breaking down whatever final tables have taken place, that includes interviews with big names, like the three of you, of course.
Yeah.
Player of the year discussion, hot topics that are up for debate, following the drama.
So you're trying to take our jobs.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed
basically
to
what the
yeah.
Poker News podcast
That's what we're supposed to
is.
do 3 times a week.
We're doing it live, and I think it's a great complement to our live stream. And so I go back to the WSOP family. And so Stapes and David Williams and Maria's going to be involved here and there. She's a new mom, so hopefully we get her for a couple days throughout the course of the summer. But the four of us are just aligned with WSOP. We're exclusive with WSOP moving forward. Now, you mentioned Ollie and Nick, and that's important because Ollie and Nick is like the WSOP main event A-team. Like on all of our live broadcasts on ESPN throughout the course of the summer, unless Nick runs super deep in the main, which is very possible, they're going to feature Ollie and Nick. And I think that's really important as we open ourselves up to this new audience, that we have this team in place. As Ollie and Nick are like, they're the guys. And Lon and Norman, like, we still respect the hell out of 2 surefire poker Hall of Famers, and they're going to be involved in our ESPN coverage as well. And they're going to be doing the edited episodes, which I think is their strength, and they should be doing those from here until the end of time. So it's a nice balance with our whole team/family.
I'm glad you said that. I actually went back prior to coming out to Vegas and did a rewatch of the 2006 WSOP. And I took notes of like what made this so special back then, right? And there were a lot of different things, segments, and the graphics, the music, etc.
3 betting.
I really did, and I've always appreciated Lon and Norm,
Sure.
but like they really, especially those edited episodes, do bring something to it. And I think that's going to resonate with a lot of fans who came into the game at that point in time, right? I know that there are people in the poker world who don't care for them, the newer, that want Nick and Ali exclusively, but I do think there's a huge contingent, myself included, that still love Lon and Norm, and it brings that WSOP flavor to...
And we're going to play to their strengths, which are those episodes that you talked about, and I think that will help immensely. Omaha Productions, who's producing the World Series of Poker main event, I think they start coming in the first week of June to start like with building features, with building stories around different characters. And so Lon and Norman will really be the ones who can take deep dives into those and introduce these new characters to our World Series of Poker audience.
When is the WSOP Countdown show going to begin? Is it right off the bat?
Right off the bat, right before our first live stream, and we'll be on every single day.
What is there a specific time every day that people should be setting their...
I think our plan is to shoot at 2-ish, and then that would air a little later in the day, right before our live streams. I think most of our live streams will probably start 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Pacific time. Because of a few different things. Most importantly, all of our feature tables and working in all of our content from outside tables, we need a little bit more of a delay versus what we usually see for the production team in Korea to put all of this together. So I think we're going to operate on maybe an hour and a half, a 2-hour delay. So we'll start shooting at 4. We'll air it around 6. That's obviously always going to be subject to change.
Every day?
Every day.
Huh?
There will be a live stream once we get started every single day. And we'll cover every single day of the main event as well.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
You going to play the main?
I'm not. I have no plans to play at all this year. I'm just going to dive into the work,
Grinder.
do the countdown show, be out there on the floor, and annoy you guys.
I'll
when
take
you guys
the
are
over
playing.
on 0.5.
Please
events
annoy
played.
me.
Oh, 0.5 is a good line.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
that
take the
super
over.
turbo bounty sometimes stands out.
There's a 5K turbo at the end.
Overlook that
Wow.
industry employees event. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That's your event, though.
Right
Does
there.
that count
That's
for
your-
player of the year points or no?
No.
That's a
thought
good
so, right?
question.
Which
Probably
one?
not.
Interesting, but am I allowed to
I
play
know.
that this year, or am I
Yeah.
shamed again?
I mean,
I don't
both.
think
You can
You're
be
allowed,
ashamed.
you're allowed and you'll be
Yeah,
shamed.
that's
So
right.
exactly.
That guy's
Yeah,
good.
fuck.
What
God
else
damn
is
it.
what else is new
Media
at
trained.
the WSOP this year? I knew there's going to be a new merch store.
Yeah, new merch store, which is going to be cool. And I know in years past we've had that kind of pop-up merch store come about near the playing area, but this will be a store where it'll be open year round. Like
Okay.
it's
I was going to say, don't we always have a
is-
merch store? WSOP?
No, but WSOP is
Year-round.
committed to
That's
a
cool.
new full-time merch store. And I think that'll open sometime in June. It's going to be really cool.
Is it in the same spot?
No, it's kind of by Guy Fieri's restaurant. Like when you're walking in between Paris and Horseshoe, you'll see the setup. It'll be closed right now. But it'll be great. Camilla is running that, and she's got a new merch line and new styles and logos, and it's just a drastic step up in the merch game. And I think it's cool to have a presence on Strip year round, as opposed to just these 6 weeks.
I think that is really cool too. Which brings me to my next topic. What are we doing about the cigarette smoke in that area?
Okay, so cigarette smoke.
It's horrendous. My top two complaints are I wish dealers just dealt like that, and the
Right.
cigarette smoke is everyone gets
Like this?
everyone's coughing their dick off. It's like there's just dicks everywhere. No, it's yeah.
Well, there's going to be that regardless.
Yeah. It's like 95%
Rats.
dudes.
Yeah.
So I was talking with Jack the other day about this, about the parking also, which
This
is
was my
going to
next
be
question. Look at you getting ahead of me.
I'll even let you ask that. So we'll save parking until you ask that question. As far as the smoking is concerned, you run into a bit of trouble because like once you step foot into a casino, it becomes the gaming area, and if this
course.
gaming area is smoking. So I think what we've settled on, what we're going to at least try to do, is make that smoking area not hit you immediately. Like when you walk out of Horseshoe, when you're on a break and you're walking out into that casino area, you get hit with a wave of smoke,
Dick
right?
blasts
Like
are
just
just
boom, right
Yeah,
there.
just like
And so I think at the very least we can like push that smoking area back a little bit so you aren't getting smashed right off the bat and totally
So
overwhelmed.
it's a delayed smash. Is
Yeah,
what you're
it's
saying?
more of a,
Delayed smash.
well, once you get into the zone where like it's a wider space and you can go this route without running into as
Okay, I
much.
see what you're saying.
It's not like we made the whole casino non-smoking and you won't run into
Just
any
that
smoke
little
at all.
slot machine area, basically.
But but like we're kind of opening it up a little bit as far as the non-smoking. area is
I had a
concerned.
thought.
I feel like we're getting 4 feet extra.
I had a thought.
Which is a drastic improvement over years past.
Am I allowed to walk? Never mind. I'll ask that all fair.
I can't wait. I think everyone who plays a World Chase event should get a spray bottle, and anyone
Yeah.
who smokes in the casino, we can just like a cat, you know,
Yeah,
that's
that seems
like on the
fair.
counter,
Anybody who
like
smokes, anybody who smokes when you're in that big break crowd walking out and they go ahead and light up a cigarette, like shame the hell out of them.
punch them.
Yeah.
Right, but you're allowed to punch them.
Oh,
yes,
you heard it
are.
here first.
Well,
Yeah, my other
Yeah.
thought was, have you just thought about not being such a bitch about it?
Yeah. Wow. It's incredibly offensive, and I think you should be canceled, actually. Wow.
Believe me, if I was going to be canceled, I would have been canceled already.
parking. Do you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
can we
Yeah,
get 3
it's all
VIP
parking.
spots?
Yeah,
Come on.
so when I-
That's what I came here to announce. That
Yes.
just you three
Just
would be
us
treated
three.
better as far as
Yeah,
parking.
you hear
I
that,
gotta-
D-Nick?
I gotta
Suck
be
it.
yeah. I'll be. You'll see me in view. Yeah. So the VIP parking area, which is where I will be leaving out of.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no. When we leave there,
do you get
what happens
Yeah.
is there's the card reader at the bottom won't read your card, so we're stuck in a 100-person
You know,
line.
this man doesn't work for
every
the
person
parking
clears.
garage,
Yeah,
right?
but the Caesars won't help. No one will help. Somebody's got to help us. It's 1:30 in the morning. My girlfriend's at home. She's like, he's out there with a woman. I'm sitting there there in the Caesars parking garage trying to get home.
I'm very glad you brought this up because parking has been on my mind. This is a huge part of player experience when you leave at midnight, when everybody else is leaving at midnight, and one person's putting their room key and it doesn't work, or they're swiping their diamond card and it doesn't work. So
straight to the dungeon.
I talked with Jack about this. He's got a full-on plan in place that will. He gave me a bunch of specifics, which
just Martin Zamani holding up the thing,
which we're almost ready to announced, but there will be improvements to alleviate the traffic. It's a much better system.
Yay.
You will not be stuck. There will be somebody to help you. So we'll be all good.
Your cell phone number. So I will
not be that person to help you.
If you're going there, I'm going your ass.
We have a few friends who need jobs.
Later tonight, as we're recording, this is the 25K fantasy. We're going to show a highlight video that we will film tonight. But just real quick on that, give me one good player that if you were drafting a team, which you are, you're part of a team, like what's one big player you want on your team? You can say this because this is going to come out after.
Right. So everybody knows the big names, right? Like, so I don't have to go through those.
Right.
Like, I mean, we are targeting Texas Mike for our biggest name, and so hopefully we end up getting him. I'm more like, where do the sleepers lie? Mm-hmm. And so in the $1 range, I'm going to go, well, I can't say we're going to go for sure because who knows how the draft is going to play out. But on your ODB fantasy teams, which people will see this and still be able to submit, I think I mentioned two names on this last space I was on. One was Mr. Ludlow himself, but he can't go off property too much. So if he gets drafted, he's staying on WSOP. And then the other is Baby Shark, Christina Gollins, who has a full WSOP schedule.
Okay. Oh, really?
And you get one deep run in like a Millionaire Maker or Monster Stack or Main Event, that shoots up the points, and so the value per dollar is big. So I'm going with Christina.
Well,
and Ben, but probably Christina.
Probably Christina, that's fine.
Because the draft is tonight as we're recording this, we're about to insert the video. You're going to see if you guys did in fact get Texas Mike.
Please.
Check it out. Chad Holloway here at the annual 25K fantasy draft. Players are filtering in. Daniel Negreanu just arrived. He's having a little vino tonight. He's going to have fun. This is always a great kickoff for the World Series of Poker, and of course sets the stage for a summer-long fantasy competition, not only for the players who are putting up $25K apiece, but also the ODB David Baker $500 league, where over 1,000 players are going to get in, myself included. Let's see how this thing plays out. We're here with the man himself, Daniel Negreanu. How many teams are we going to get this year?
So here's the thing. I had like 19 or 20 written down or whatever, and there's 5 people here that I did not speak to. So I'm going to guess it's going to be roughly similar to last year. 24, which is a lot, Anytime this thing has more than 10, I think, wow. And, it's super popular now. We have people coming out of the woodworks that I've never seen before.
Who's going to go for the most money this year, you think?
I think Sean Deeb will go for the most money. Seems like last year I thought he went for way too cheap at 99, but I already had myself, so that wasn't an option. But I think Sean Deeb will go high because people are really big about recency bias. Like last year, Jeremy went for a gazillion, and then he didn't do well. And so,
I feel pretty good. I mean, my track record in this. It is not spectacular. So we totally changed strategies. Brent Hanks somehow is like taken over our team, but we brought in DJ McKinnon as like our general manager. You got to admit, that's like real value added to the team. So now I'm feeling good. I just come in, I show up, I chat with you, and then I chat with Negreanu, we're good to go.
Here with ODB himself, I want to talk to you. This is 25K. This is going to set the stage for yours. Is it going to be a record-setting number of entries in your $500 league or what?
Yeah, I mean, interest is every year it just goes up, so I don't see why we wouldn't be. At least we'll be close. I mean, we blew out the numbers so big last year. Even if it's steady, it'll be a success. So yeah.
$100, Daniel Negreanu. $100, Daniel Negreanu going once. $100, Daniel.
101. I mean,
101.
What the hell are we doing here?
101, Daniel Negreanu.
I guess I'm getting myself.
102.
What?
103.
He likes my golf game now.
Texas Mike, $2. Texas Mike, $2. Sean Deeb, 122 going once. 123. 133 sold. Sean Deeb to Gary Benson.
I need Brent, I'm taking a week off. It's okay.
Things are beginning to wind down here at this year's 25K Fantasy Draft. Only 4 players went for over $100. Sean Deeb, indeed, was the biggest with $133, followed by Texas Mike, $130, Daniel Negreanu, $116, and Joao Vieira, $101. We're going to have to see at the end of the summer which one of these teams is going to take it down. Be sure to follow all your 25K fantasy draft needs on PokerNews.com. We'll be doing a live blog every day with all the implications, so you can follow along there. You can sort the chip counts, and you can also use our new feature, MyPlayers, in which if you have a fantasy team, maybe it's your team in the actual draft or an ODB team, you can customize the players that you follow and see in the chip counts and the updates. So definitely check out MyPlayers. Speaking of MyPlayers, there's 2 I want to ask you about.
Okay.
Because I'd love to draft Jesse Yaginuma and James Carroll.
Thought the grilling was over.
This is the last hardball, but are these guys, are we going to see them at the World Series this summer, or are they still persona non grata?
So a couple of things. Number one is that I saw a story, and I'm not saying it was from you guys, but another misconception of sorts that said that they had both received lifetime bans from Caesars, and that's not the case. That's not even a thing. You're either banned or you're not. It's not like a NBA suspension where you have to sit out 28 games or something. I personally, and I'm biased, but I personally really like those 2 guys. I think they're good guys that were caught up in just a really weird situation.
Strange situation.
Sure, they may not have handled it perfectly, but on spur of the moment, I want to give those 2 the benefit of the doubt, right? Now, WSOP says there needs to be, some consequences that come along with what we perceive to be ruining the integrity of the tournament. Those guys will be back eventually. I'm going to push for that.
So are they banned by Caesars or WSOP?
I believe it's both at this point. I believe it's both.
And your point is, it's not like, this isn't like a lifetime. This is just like currently, indefinitely, which indefinitely could mean a year.
And literally, you could get banned, and then 3 months later, you could be Ren Lin playing tournaments, not miss a single thing. It's totally fine. It's all arbitrary. No one knows.
The bans can be taken. There's no set period of time. Part of why I like these guys is because they're so soft-spoken and they don't really look for attention. I almost think it was better if they had a huge profile and they were able to blast out some apologies, and that might have helped this process.
Or I want to apologize to absolutely no one.
Exactly. That would not have helped at all. So I do think, and I do personally hope, again, I'm biased, that we will see them back in the future. And I don't think it's going to be this summer, but I do think it's going to be within a reasonable amount of time. There's no objective right or wrong answer to this. There's not a script to follow after something like last summer happened. So it's a lot more the opinions of the higher ups who make these decisions. And I'm going to push for them moving forward. And I don't think they're in a place where they're going to get back this year, but the thought that they'd be banned for life or whatever is not.
It sounds to me like you're just waiting to see if you can get them for $1 in the sleeping.
Slow-rolling everybody. Yeah.
Also, do you have a comment on the fact you guys drafted Maurice Hawkins for $100?
I did not. We did not do that.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Hot dogs, how much they cost in this year, brother? It's going to be too much, or is it going to be way too much?
I appreciate the question.
Things to wrap up this episode. I want to shout out the Bet Rivers Table Talk podcast that I recently did with Keith Becker. Phil Hellmuth was our guest. You're going to want to check that one out. I got a tour of his $2.8 million condo. Ooh. We talk about the 2026 World Series of Poker and more. Definitely check that out. And I also got a giveaway to do real quick. Just simply leave a comment on this video. CSOP, the Charity Series of Poker, are going to have their event number 100 this weekend, Saturday, May 30th. I'm going to be there. I've won a CSOP title before. Sick. One of the first 99. I just want to throw that out there.
You won a bracelet before too, right?
It's right there in front of you. Go ahead, you can try it on. Just comment CSOP and we will choose one winner. I will select the winner by May 29th, the day before. You're probably going to want to be in Vegas if you're going to apply for this thing. Otherwise, you're not going to fly in, right? So pay attention to the comments. I will respond to the comment of the winner. I'll also post it on social media. And then we got to try to connect to make it happen. So if you're interested, comment CSOP and we will find a winner and see you Saturday night. And then last thing I want to touch upon is just a quick shout out remembering Barney Frank. He passed away. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Those of us who have been around long enough know that he was a champion pushing for online poker back when he was in Congress. He hasn't been for a long time, but he did pass away. He retired in 2013, so he's been out of the game for a while, but he was in Congress for 3 decades and really just fought against the Unlawful Internet Gambling Enforcement Act, the UIGEA, and just was sad to see that. But like he was such a force, early force with online
remember
poker.
he was a staple
Oh, yeah.
for us. Like he was a huge advocate. He was on our side for sure, and I'm thankful for all the work that he put in.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is going to do it for episode 966 of the Poker News Podcast. We're going to do 3 episodes a week. This is the first. So we will have episodes at 8 a.m. Pacific time every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And then in between, and even on those days, you're going to want to check out the WSOP Countdown Show.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. We'll talk throughout the summer. Look forward to it.
Thanks for
very
letting
much.
us grill you. We only do it
Anytime.
because we love you and we
Anytime.
love,
I love
the
you
World
guys,
Series.
We look
Any
forward
questions?
to you interviewing us, perhaps,
Yes,
during a tournament.
perhaps.
Perhaps you'd have to run deep in one.
Oh,
Yeah, that's-
wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Pick me for $1 and I'll
Yeah.
do it. Okay.
I'm Chad Holloway, Mike Holtz, Ben Ludlow. Big thanks to Jeff Platt for joining us. We will be back on Thursday with a brand new episode. Until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.